Ah! Jesus.
Is that recording?
You scared the shit out of me. Three, two, one. My name is Dave. Hello, I lived in Indiana, Michigan, California. Da, 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 da. Hello, my name is Dave, and welcome to another vlog of mine. Today we're going to be talking about how I moved between 5 different states within 7 years. Okay, so to start off, let's take it back a little bit about me. So I grew up in Indiana, in the northwestern part. For any of you who don't know what's around there, for context, Chicago was about a 45-minute drive away. I ended up moving with my family to Michigan, so East Lansing, Michigan. For those of you who don't know where that is, if you look here, you can see it right here. I'll tell you, I was really not happy about moving to Michigan at the time. I was, 16? And I just wasn't having it, you know. I felt like my parents were taking away from all of my friends, everything I knew, like my beach life that I had in Indiana, which is not really much of a beach life. So to start off the move of all of the 7 years and everything, fast forward past the high school time frame and a little bit of college and college dropout and all that stuff. I had gone to Chicago to start a trade school program for 2 years where I did audio engineering, sound design for film, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was 2 years of just awesome project work, awesome like-minded people. And it was great. Like, there was nothing else like it. After college, we were kind of promised by that trade school to get a career path, you know, find something for sure as far as either an internship or a landed job by the time you graduate. Turns out that wasn't the case, and a lot of people were very upset, including myself. And we just kind of had to fend for ourselves. Unless you had a lot of connections or had done really well throughout the program and met a lot of new people, it was kind of difficult, and you kind of had to either think about going the freelance route or, you know, giving up and going back home and committing to the corporate life. At the time, I went back to move with my parents, and I think I got a job at 7-Eleven for a couple months, and it was just, I don't even know how I felt at that point. Maybe I just blocked it out of my brain because of how bad it was. Eventually, in early 2012, I got a chance to go down to Orlando, Florida, and be able to work for a union and setting up just like a local convention center event. I think it was in Orange County, or maybe I'm thinking California, but Orange something, whatever it was. So I got a chance to work for that for 2 weeks, where we were setting up like an NBA event, and, you know, really just doing the grunt work of setting up rafters, setting up speakers, you know, setting up like pop-ups and everything for that. It was a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of cool people and work with some of my friends that I knew from college, from the trade school. And that was for 2 weeks. And for only having worked like 9 days out of the 2 weeks, we got a pretty substantial paycheck, which was probably the most money that I had ever made at that point. So from there, I got back home after that big trip, and I was just loving Orlando, Florida. I had always loved it. We went to Florida occasionally for family trips during the summertime throughout elementary school and middle school. But I just wanted to go back. I wanted to be at sunny weather. I wanted to always be able to go to the beach and just have that Florida life. I called the union back up that I worked for at the time, said, hey, is there any other work I can do in Florida for you? Like, you know, I'd love to move down there. I'm trying to get myself down there like permanently. And the guy that I called, I had met in person, but he just told me like, no, not really. This time of year is really slow now. We're probably not going to see anything pick up until a year from now. So in 2012, I ended up trying to think about what are some of the big companies, what are some big names down in Orlando, Florida, or around the area that I could try and get my foot into, or, you know, go work at. Okay, maybe I'll go look up Disney. So I went onto their website and just looking up Walt Disney World, careers, jobs, anything like that. and I had saw a lifeguard position, and I thought, I've done swimming in my life. I could probably run through the test of being a lifeguard and work through that. And so I applied for that as a part-time lifeguard, and I had gotten, it takes you through like an email process where or not email process, but like a portal process where you put in all your information, you provide a basic resume, and then at the end of the kind of online interview, they'll give you a prompted response saying, hey, great, we'll get back to you, or hey, tell us some time that you could come down for an interview. So I got the latter of those two, where it said, hey, post for us on this calendar what days that you'd be able to come in for an interview in person. I literally picked the soonest day that I could. I think it was probably some weekday at that point, and I picked like that very next weekend day. I was like, I'm gonna go. And so I picked it, I scheduled it, and as much as my parents might have thought I was crazy for this at the time, I scheduled it, and that weekend I just drove down. When I went through the interview in person, it was weird because they talk about, hey, like, here's what we're interviewing you for. But they pointed out saying like, hey, you have photography on your resume. Is that something that you're interested in and that you're passionate about? And I said, I do love photography. It's something that I really enjoy and I've done for quite a few years of my life, but never made a career out of it. And like, this was one of the greatest moments of my life, I think. If you were to be hired here at Disney World, if you could pick between the two, if you were to be hired as a lifeguard or a photographer, which would you want to pick? And even though it was the easiest answer in my brain, I paused for a minute and I probably just malfunctioned, it looked like. I decided to say, I would love to do photography. Is there something available in that field here at Disney World? And this kind of broke my heart. So it was like super high, super low in the same minute, where the guy said, that's awesome, I'll put you in for that, but we usually don't get any open spots for that type of role until late summer, like early fall. At the time it was, I think, March, and granted that's not a long time, but for me, I love instant satisfaction, and so immediately I'm like, I have to go back to Michigan for another 6 months max. I don't want to do that. The wheels basically stopped turning for me in my head, and I said, I was cordial about the interview. I said, that'd be great. I'd love to be in contact, and please let me know if, that comes up, or if the lifeguard role comes up sooner, I'll be interested to try an interview for that again. Since I thought nothing was going to come from it, I hopped back in my car, and I just drove straight back up to Michigan that same day. From there, I got back maybe on a Tuesday evening or something, and then I went back to work on Wednesday the next day. And at my shift, so for context, working at 7-Eleven, I was a cashier basically, and it was usually fairly slow. You'd get people coming in for a soda, Slurpee. I had my phone on me and I'm just sitting there maybe dazing out or whatever, but I get a phone call. It was the recruiting office from Disney World. And, they said, hey, we had your interview and we saw that you had kind of put your name in the ring for both lifeguard and photography. I said, yeah, and the guy told me that photography wouldn't probably be available until like late summer, early fall. And he said, yeah, I see that on your file, but actually we have some open roles for the, they call it Photo Pass. He said, we have open roles for Photo Pass, like now, and we wanted to see how soon you could come down to start, basically. And I just absolutely, like, how can we go about scheduling this? When should I plan for? And again, this was a Wednesday, so Wednesday in the middle of the week, and the individual had said, yeah, so we would need you here on Saturday. And I was like, Saturday, what date? And I don't remember what date it was. Let's say it's the 5th on Wednesday. And he said, this Saturday. I'd love to, absolutely. I just need to arrange a few things to confirm and make sure that I can make that. But am I able to give you a call back and just confirm everything once I can double check? And he said, absolutely. Here's my phone number. Here's my name, how to contact us and everything. I hung up the phone, and I'm sitting in the back room of 7-Eleven, just freaked out because I have to move in less than a week. And so I texted my boss and I said, hey, if you're available, can you come in? There's something I wanted to talk to you about. Luckily, he would come in like every once in a while just to check on things and see how things were going. And he comes in and says, hey, what's up? And I said, hey, I got a job offer that I can't refuse. I effectively I have to quit today. That very night and for the rest of the week until Thursday night, Friday night even, I was probably packing till the very end. I was just packing, get everything done. Luckily, I really didn't have any furniture or anything to my name. It was mostly just my own, like my belongings, clothing, shoes, hats, whatever type of thing. So I packed up my car. I left on that Friday or something. And yeah, I was supposed to be there sometime Saturday. So I get down there, and from that day forward, it was a change. It was awesome. It was probably the point in my life where I met the most people, unique people, like-minded people who just love Disney. I really didn't have much to go on as far as knowledge of Disney other than just here are the Disney VHSs that I watched when I was little. I watched Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, all those different ones. Meeting some of these people at Disney, the knowledge and the background and lore that they have on some of these things, even just characters individually, was amazing and so cool to see and so invigorating to be around that type of mindset of passion and dedication for Disney. So I had been through PhotoPass for that amount of time and made it up through the ranks for a little bit, and then thankfully, and one of the best things that ever happened to me, I met my now wife in Disney World while we were working both in PhotoPass, and in late 2015 then we moved to Arizona. So far we have 2009 started, and then 2011 was back to Michigan, 2012 was to Florida, and then 2015 was to Arizona. And so we moved to Arizona, my wife and I, or now wife at the time, girlfriend, we moved there to live with her parents for a little bit. I think we lived with her parents, I think maybe a year and a half, and then we moved out on our own in the same area in Arizona. We had moved from Arizona to California up in San Francisco. The move was basically for part of my work at the time, so they were relocating me to San Francisco, and it was supposed to be for at the time I think it was a 2-year round, but they said whatever happens. If you want to stay here longer, great, we'll find something for you. If not, awesome. But we only ended up staying there for 9 months, and then we had the opportunity to move down to Los Angeles, which is where we are now, to live out the SoCal life. And what's so crazy, and I think full circle moment, at least for me, growing up, living in Indiana, and even during my time in my trade school for sound design for film, the talk amongst me and all my friends was always get out to California, be on the beach life, do all this, and California, West Coast, Best Coast, you name it, any whatever slogan you can think of for California. And somewhere along the way between those 5 different states, I still vaguely had it in my mind that I wanted to get to California, but I think it always took the back burner on what I was doing, because I was trying to just focus on where's the next thing. Okay, I'm here in Florida now, what can I do to make the best of this? Now I'm here in this, what can I do to make the best of this? And finally, when we got to California, I I think when we first moved to San Francisco, granted it's not SoCal, so it's not the whole beach life thing. It's more of a city kind of city vibe, hustle and bustle type thing. But when we got to California, I was very surprised but happy at the same time that I was living in California, because I had always wanted to live there and I just never thought it would happen. But I kept it as a dream, and now, even saying it out loud now, it's just so surreal to think that I'm living in SoCal now, and it's just it's amazing. It's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So again, went from Michigan to Illinois, to Michigan, to Florida, to Arizona, to now California. And it's been an adventure. It's been a wild ride. And hopefully, for any of you out there, this, I hope, inspires you. If you ever think about moving but just can't pull the trigger, it is difficult, but it's a big payoff, and it's all about what you want to do with your life. If you want to move to Alaska, then do it. Why not? Like, what's the reason not to? Yeah, you want to make sure you have a job. You want to make sure that you can go and sustain yourself wherever you're going to go. But don't let that stop you from trying to make yourself happy. I think that's one thing that I was so against when I lived in Indiana, is that I didn't want to leave there. I wanted to live, breathe, grow up and die in Indiana. And I had that whole steadfast mindset that, Indiana is the only place. This is where everyone I know is, and I can't leave it. I can't leave my friends. That would be way too detrimental. It's so crazy to think that I had a dream that I never thought would come true, to get to California, and it's come true. It took some time, but it's here. So that's all today, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll be sharing definitely a lot more in the coming weeks and coming months and years and everything to come. Please like and subscribe to this video. Throw in some comments if there's anything that you want to see me do or share on the next videos. Always open to new things. Just let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.